By the way, this is Luis and this is FONZI, and we have nothing to sell you. No, that's a lie. We have something to sell you, but not on that. Who's that?
Did you literally just copy Alex Hormozi?
Hey, man. Papa Hormozi.
I think you need the muscle.
The mustache, everything.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready. FONZI, you ready?
I'm 100% ready. Let's do
right.
this.
Here we go. Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm FONZI.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast,
where we talk about entrepreneurship, mindset, and of course, how to turn your content into profit. But most importantly, we are here to have a damn good time with you.
That's right. Go to contentisprofit.com and join the community. Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. I still don't know how I feel about that part. I think it's good and it's fun.
Hey,
I don't know.
It's
Maybe
okay.
I just need to get used to it.
Yeah, bro, come on. You're always like second guessing that kind of stuff, but I think it's Gucci. Hey, do you have a sponsor today?
Indeed we do, but before sharing that, today, guys, we're talking about B2B podcasting.
Ooh.
3 reasons to start in 2022. And let me tell you, today's episode is going to be what we say, #juicy.
Bunch of golden boulders.
And a bunch of golden boulders. That is correct.
Right, guys. But yes, I will answer my own questions. Yes, we do have a sponsor, and that sponsor is the BIZBROS with content momentum. And for those who don't know, the BIZBROS is us, FONZI and myself, and the team who's probably watching right now. Yeah, let's go. But if you want consistent daily content and you want to master that without a bunch of time for your team, trying to figure out the system, trying to figure out the processes, let us know. That's what we do, baby. #juicy.
That is right. And if you want to see all the golden boulders, right, make sure you follow us in social media at BIZBROSCO on Facebook, on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to the Content is Profit podcast in your favorite podcasting platform. We drop episodes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
I know. By the way, January has been good to the pod. You know, listenership has like tripled. So thank you. I know people have been coming back from vacation, and I think so. A huge shout out to those listening to the show. Thank you so much.
I know. I'm doing thumbs up here, but at the same time, I'm like trying to get the focus back from the camera.
There we go. All right, FONZI.
Let's start this
Today
party.
Today is fire. You were like, you told me, Luis Daniel, how you call me.
Are you okay right now?
Don't give me more coffee. Okay.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, you were like, hey.
Before we dive into 3 reasons why you should start podcasting in 2022.
You, the listener, right?
Yeah, that's why I say you, and I point at the camera.
Okay. On the mic.
I guess the people that are listening, right? So I want to share a big misconception about podcasting, right? Because honestly, it's still very early in the game. I don't know the exact data, but it was something out of all the podcasts that are published, a very small minority percentage of those podcasts are actually active. Also, out of, I don't know, what is it? Out of every podcast that starts, only a few make it past 7 episodes.
I think it's like 90% of podcasts that start fail
before episode 7.
Exactly.
Whew. So
if you are past 8 episodes, you're part of that 10%. So let's go.
Congrats.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So what is one of these misconceptions? And this is why I feel a lot of people fall, especially in the B2B market, before episode 7. And it is because of results, right? Because people are like, I'm going to go to podcasting. I'm going to start building an audience. And guess what? It takes effort. It takes effort to get yourself in front of the mic. It gets effort to put an episode together and share your thoughts and publish it and promote it. So once people run across the work that comes to do this, and I'm going to make a quick parenthesis here, it doesn't have to be that hard. I'm going to address that, and we can talk about that in another episode, close parentheses. When people come across that hard work, that they get discouraged, right? And they fall.
And that's after they have a setup, and I'm doing air quotations here because, again, misconception, right? But they're like, oh my gosh, they get overwhelmed of the amount of tech or maybe equipment that they think they need, because it can be done from a phone, or even we've seen it done from a watch.
Exactly. If you want to know more about this, you need to learn about the minimum viable content.
Yes.
Right? That is one of the principles that we talk about plenty of times. Let us know, slide in the DMs at BIZBROSCO, say MVC, and we'll send it to you. But why do people fail, right? Why do they get overwhelmed? Why are they discouraged from not seeing results? this is a problem.
Yeah.
They don't set up the right expectations and the right goals, because a lot of people come into this game thinking, I'm going to build an audience and I'm here to build my brand and I'm here to sell to the audience. And guess what? It takes a very long time to build a meaningful audience. That is a long-term play. So unless you commit knowing that and you're willing to commit and take action for a very long time, you're going to have a bad time, right? It's going to be very, very challenging. So you need to ask yourself better questions, right? We know that
better questions,
the quality of your
better
life,
revelations.
the quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. And let's change that.
What's
the quality of
philosopher right now?
The quality of your business is tightly related to the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. So instead of asking, how can I build an audience and how can I sell to an audience, right? Because the answer there is going to be a long-term plan and consistent action, which is not bad. I don't have anything against it. But if you're in the B2B space, you want deals on the table.
Yeah, I think it's funny because one of the questions that we get asked a lot is like, well, what about the audience? Like how fast or whatever. And then we go back and be like, but why do you want or need an audience, right? Like, and then we go into like, who are you selling to, right? That's one of the questions, and that's a journey that we are right now, right? We're discovering that, and we've over the last 2 years that has shifted a little bit, right? But most people, just so you know, spoiler alert, they don't really know who they're selling to, right? That's an issue. That's a discovering process that publishing like this, it will help manage that, right? So now when people are like, when we ask why the audience, most people don't really know. And the assumption is because we have these massive creators right on YouTube. And if you're listening, you can picture, one line at the end of the line, you see creator side of things with like no business, right? And then on the other side, you have business without creation, right? We kind of live in the middle, right? And then businesses are trying to move all the way to the creation side of things, and creations are moving all the way to the business side of things, right? But the creator has the audience, right? But they don't have a business to sustain it. Now that you have the business to sustain it, you're trying to figure that out. All the information that comes in is from those creators that have the audience. But let me tell you, you don't need that.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of challenges in there. And I'm not saying that they don't work. I think if taking action accordingly and consistently for a long period of time, they do work. But, another one that we could refer to is the value ladder, right? People think you need to start selling at the bottom of the value ladder a $17 product. And guess what? That's going to be very, very challenging. You need a big audience for that. So back to the questions. Like, what is the question that we need to ask ourselves? And this is going to lead to the three things is, how can I make an impact in my business quickly without the need of an audience, right? Because now we're framing ourselves or minds or circumstances to try to understand what is the road that we need to take in order to start putting deals on the table, right? And that is where we come with point number one of why you should have a podcast in 2022.
Tell me, Fonzie.
And the reason being is because a podcast is a platform that allows you to connect with high-level individuals, therefore increasing your network, therefore increasing the value of your net worth, right? You've heard it before. Your net worth is your network, something like that, or your network is your net worth. I butchered that one right there. But the point being is, the platform, the podcast is going to allow you to invite the people that you want to connect, that you want as clients, partners, or that they might have access to your market.
Yeah. The past couple of days, I've been listening to this podcast called "How to Take Over the World," and they're doing a story about Steve Jobs. Guilty. We have the biography, but never read it. So it's a part of that. One of the things that they say, one of the traits is he surrounded himself with those people. He created that network, right? And the way he did it was literally #TableFace calling, the CEOs of the company that he wanted to talk to and convince and whatever, right? It goes more into that. But at the end of the day, it was the environment that he created, right? Purposely or not on purpose, but that helped a ton, right? And one of the questions that a lot of journalists were asking him is like, why is he creating these things, or like, did you do any market research and all these things, right? And the reason that he never did really market research and he followed his gut is because he would literally go after this network, right? So when we talk about business, for us, for example, a lot of people are like, well, how do you get, Rich Schaefer, for example, or Steve Sims? I'm like, we just asked, right? And at the end of the day, whether the connection that we made on the show for business purposes or strategic partnerships, or to elevate the level of authority, whatever that reasoning is, right? This show allows for that, and then it creates opportunities for us, whether that's very direct or indirect.
Yeah. And you might be asking yourself, why do I need a whole podcast to talk to these people when I can outreach them in LinkedIn, right? Or I can call them and get them on the phone. Well, guess what? There are gatekeepers, right? It's very challenging to get in touch with these people. With all the messaging platforms out there, people have filters to, assistants, again, gatekeepers, to protect their time and their attention, because they want their attention is one of the most valuable things that they have. So by having a platform, right, you're providing something of value for them in order for them to come and share some time with you. And now you're using that time to build authority, to build rapport, and to build trust with these people. Or actually, rapport, lately I learned that is translates into trust and comfort. So you're bringing this person in an environment of trust and comfort. And guess what happens after you have trust and comfort with somebody, after you have rapport? You can keep the conversation going and transitioning into searching for opportunities. So that is reason number two.
Have you ever tried
avoid the gatekeepers?
Have you ever tried door-to-door selling, FONZI?
I have not tried door-to-door. Have you tried door-to-door?
No. Well, not door-to-door, but school to school. Remember when we were in Happy Feet, we had to like go in and literally sell that. Yeah. But we've heard a lot of like door-to-door kind of deal, and the digital version of that is those DMs, right? Like if you are in this game of like DM, trying to outreach, trying to call, right? Like these people, maybe they're not in your city, maybe they're in different cities, right? It can be really challenging to get into this, right? Whether if you have, like FONZI said, you have this platform that can provide a lot of value for them, because we're going to have a conversation, and we talked about this in the last episode. You can go into the feed and go check that out. But we talked about having conversations, not just interviewing or asking questions, right? That's going to build that rapport. That's going to help you move towards your objectives, right? Which is, what is the fastest path to cash, right? Probably that partnership, probably that person as a client, probably that person giving you referrals, either for your show or for the business. So super important to remember.
Absolutely. And then point number 3 is your podcast becomes the pillar platform for the rest of your marketing, right? It could be, again, it might not be the only strategy you have to rely on to bring business, but it's a really good one, and it gets probably the best deals because, again, you're building those very strong relationships. But at the same time, now you have a whole bunch of content that you can use to leverage to build your audience. Remember at the beginning we were saying people start with the audience in mind? Well, guess what? Starting like this, focus on the guests and focus on building those relationships, still creates a really good podcast that you can leverage to later on build the audience. How does that look like for us? Guess what? Content momentum, right? We multi-purpose our content, and we're putting what we call hashtag golden nuggets, right? Just golden boulders. Wow. Ooh. Golden boulders that are just like golden nuggets, just way bigger. And we share them
canceled
all over the internet, right?
It's funny. Yesterday afternoon, I go to our favorite coffee shop here, Tuesday Compass, right? And I'm talking to somebody else at the front, and she had a sister that was working there. I'm asking her like, wow, like I'm trying to figure out, like, I didn't know you guys were sisters and XYZ. I'm like, what does she do, right? And she's like, hey, she's my older sister, and she has like life figured out, right? And then she goes to tell me like what was life figured out for her, and then this crazy reflection of her like, maybe she doesn't, and maybe I don't, maybe you don't have life figured out, right? And we go over this conversation, and then in my head I'm going through, in business, nobody has it figured out either, right? Like one of the things that had showed me after 200 plus episodes and conversations and people is like every single one is looking to level up and continue to do it, right? And learning and improving on those relationships and experiences, right? And content is one of them, right? So when we see feeds and people and stuff like that being published and those points of contact, some of that is testing, some of that is proving like theories, right? Hypotheses in the marketing side of things, but also for the outside world is building that leverage and that thing. And, you know, to bring it home is we went to Orlando, that event, right? And they're about to give out the $1 million awards, right? And because we've been publishing consistently, because we've been, you know, active on social, because we've been showing what we do, how we do it, we've been signing people up in our programs, right? Different things like that. I'm walking outside because we're not receiving this award this year, right? We haven't made $1 million in sales yet, right? We're about a quarter of the way there, right? Yeah, let's go, knock on wood, let's go. But I walk outside and I see this person that we've seen her in a couple of masterminds, super awesome, right? And she's like, "Oh my gosh, where are you going? Like I thought you were gonna, you guys are getting your prize today, right?" And we're like, "No," and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, we're not." I mean, you know, at that point, we weren't even a quarter of the way there. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I really thought you guys were," right? So the impression, the outside impression is a lot higher of, you know, maybe where we actually are, right? Or a lot lower if you don't publish at all, right? So if you are actually doing good and you're not publishing, people assume that you might not be doing good. But if you do publish, people will assume that you're doing great, right? And that is not to say like, hey, you know, not to lie, but that will open doors to conversations to be like, okay, I am being viewed as this person of authority, right? I'm putting my thoughts out to the world, right? Yep. Let's start a conversation.
Yeah, you build what we call ART, right? And ART is an acronym for authority, relevancy, and trust, just by showing up consistently. Yep. Now, just to recap real quick before we head out, the 3 reasons why you should start podcasting in 2022, specifically if you're in the B2B space. Number 1, grow your network and net worth, right? Again, the idea is for you to bring into the podcast those people that can become your clients, partners, or that have access to the market that you're serving. Number 2 is incredible access, right? Avoiding those gatekeepers. Having a platform, it's already value that you can provide up front for that person that you're trying to connect with to come to your podcast. And last but not least, leverage the podcast to build the audience and build what we call ART, authority, relevancy, and trust. Any final words on today's show?
Studio clap.
Studio clap.
That was good. Final thoughts, guys. Hey, if you're not publishing, go ahead and start publishing. You're going to discover your own framework. Try to figure out, you know, how to reduce the time that you're spending. This is a great way to reduce the time spent creation. It's going to allow you to test ideas. It's going to allow you to connect with your dream customer. It's going to allow you to open those doors to new opportunities and the fastest path to cash, right? If you have any questions along the way, please let us know. Send us a quick DM at BIZBROS.
Yeah, or just scroll down on your podcasting app and you can find either my brother's Instagram, my Instagram, or the BIZBROS Instagram, and you can send a message to any of us. We'll be more than happy to help you out and guide you. And also, if you are over the fence right now, if you're like, should I do it? Should I start a podcast? And you're a little bit confused on what to do, on how to leverage, how to build this platform for yourself, just let us know, because we're actually launching beta right now. I'm going to say beta. It's in beta, right? Beta, the 6-figure platform. Yes, that's a cool name, isn't it? And the 6-figure platform, it's a 6 to 8 week program where we are going to show you and teach you and build with you your own platform based on your own capacity and resources. Okay, we're not just handing you something and saying, go ahead and do it. No, we are hand-holding you and building that platform because we want you to be successful. So if you're interested in that, just send us a message, 6FP, 6-figure platform, and we are ready to help you out.
Yeah. Also, we're testing out our own stuff in here. So from now on, there's going to be some episodes that's just going to be Fonzie and I. There's going to be some episodes that are going to be interviews. We're liking this flow a little bit better. We're also discovering the framework of like, how is it going to look like on an episode just Fonzie and I, right? So any feedback that you have, whether that's good or bad, send it our way because everything helps to get this podcast rocking and rolling for you. So yeah. It's good.
That's right.
What was that, Fonzie?
I don't know. I think like sometimes we have these like amazing ideas in our minds, and when we try to express them, sometimes language barrier gets in the way, and we're like, what was the right word to say this?
Language speed bumps.
Yeah, language speed bumps. That's right. If you don't know, we are from Venezuela, and that's one of our biggest barriers. We're like mentally, we're like, oh man, like what are we gonna do? The language, are we good enough? Guess what? You are good enough, and you can do it. Now, I think that's it because we have a happy hour with the team.
Let's go.
Let's sign it off. Let's do it.
Thank you for tuning into the Contents Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platform and at BIZBROS Go.
That is right. And if today's episode helped you move one step closer toward your goal, guess what? Don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.